So, we're live. The microphone was on the ground. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Dan Didio exit from DC. What caused it? What happened? Was he forced out? Or did he realize that it was time to exit? I want to talk about the... before we get into the show, I want to talk about the Dateline episode. Where are the kids? The Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell case, which I have an obsession about. I know it's not funny, but it's just, I have such a fascination about this case that I have so many questions of what the fuck happened type thing. And so I'm just excited about the episode that aired. I just watched it before we did the show. We're going to do a rundown on it, and we're going to play the intro. So here is the intro, and enjoy. So anyway, today I watched the Dateline on NBC. I don't really watch NBC because NBC is nothing but crap. So, but this case of the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell thing has been such a fascinating case. It's one of those cases that if you ever follow me on Twitter, which is at @the1BugsBunny, I had to change the name back because many people found it kind of offensive. Some people did. Like, some people are weird. But I sent like a barrage of tweets of like questions and curiosities about the Chad Daybell Lori Vallow case. And hold on, my cat's planning on something stupid, so hold on. She's gonna jump up on the stand and knock everything over again. I was like sending a barrage of tweets and questions and everything about this case, this case of Lori Vallow. And I think that the main thing is that everybody knows she's guilty. Killing the husband of killing her husband. The wife of Chad Daybell died. Like, there were so many questions that a lot of people have been asking, and the timeline of it, okay, is July. Lori Vallow's fourth husband. This bitch has been married 4 times. She's up to something. like, her fourth husband is shot and killed by her brother, Alex Cox. Alright, and this is, I think, the whole thing's weird, though. Like, the whole thing of it. Like, her relationship with her brother is weird. Just flat out weird. Just strange, weird, hinky shit. Like, it's just fucked up. Alright, she moves to Rexburg, August 2019. JJ talks to his grandparents for the last time via a FaceTime for only 36 seconds. That right there is fucked up. Like, and the thing about it is, I wonder why she didn't, like, send the boy. Like, I wonder why the grandparents didn't take the boy after the vallow man died. Her fourth husband, like, it, that's the thing about it, is like, everything about this woman is just weird. And part of me believes that this woman has schizophrenia. Like, severe schizophrenia. Like, she is obsessed with the end times prophecy, the revelation, the end of the world, which is supposedly going to be July 22nd, so I will see you all there. I'll be doing an episode, be like, we're alive. We're alive. But the thing about it is they come from the Mormon religion, which I don't understand Mormonism. Like, it's moronic when you think about it. So. But the whole thing about it is very, like, strange. It's strange, but okay, September 2019. September 23rd was last time that JJ and the sister, what the fuck's her name? But anyway, the sister were last seen. But I want to jump back to July. The fourth husband's murder. I watched the police body camera, the entire video. Like I said, I have been fucking obsessed with this case. Like, fascinated. I wouldn't say fascinated, but fucking obsessed with it, because everything about it just does not add up. Like, once I heard Doomsday Cult, you immediately have my attention, because I am going to mock. But the video of it was weird. The daughter was very standoffish. Like she was very standoffish. She was very soft-spoken, polite, apologetic. But something about that daughter, just in my mind watching it, I think, like, this daughter is hiding something. She knows something. And my phone is fucking blowing up. Damn. But anyway. So... But anyway, the daughter was very standoffish. The first thing I noticed when I watched the body camera footage was, and they have it on Dateline, you can watch it. But I recommend the YouTube video, because the YouTube video, it goes very deep. You go inside the house. You see the house, how empty it is. For one, number one, the house was very empty. Clearly, the husband took her to the cleaners. But the thing about it was, what was weird was, the guy went back in the house because he forgot his phone, so he wanted to get his phone, and he caught the wife, Lori, the ex-wife, the now ex-wife, Lori Vallow, snooping on his phone, which is like a big red flag. I highly recommend an iPhone because you can use your eye or your fingerprint to unlock your phone, so nobody could get in your phone. I hate it when people snoop on my phone. Nobody snoops on my phone because I have the PIN code, but I don't give the PIN code, and I have my thumbprint. The only way they could get it is like they scan my thumbprint to open my phone, which I always keep my phone close to me. So that's like one of your security things. That's like the one thing you have, because you have like nowadays on your phone you have like credit card, debit card, bank information. It's all there on your phone. You're like very protective of it and shit. So the husband went back in because he was picking up the son JJ. He was going to take JJ to school, and part of me thinks, if he had his phone and all that, I think he would have taken the kid and they would have left. She wouldn't have seen the kid. Which she shouldn't have, because the woman's fucking crazy, because she believes in this Chad Daybell doomsday cult, like she's a goddess sent to save everybody. Bullshit. Typical doomsday cult shit, where the leader believes that they are a savior, reincarnation of Jesus Christ, that they're going to save everybody, which is dumb. To believe that one human being is going to save the entire human beings because they're a demigod or whatever. So, the sister is very... The woman, luckily, isn't locked up. They arrested her, which I was just like, finally, like, it's about time. One thing I want to know is, where the fuck is Chad Daybell at? Because that motherfucker is more shadier than shit. So, anyway, the body camera footage, which I watched, apparently he goes in and he gets his phone, and he gets in an argument. The daughter, and I believe the daughter adds gasoline to the fire of the argument by coming up with a baseball bat. The daughter, who everybody's worried about, I believe is involved in the shit more. There's a part of me believes that the daughter maybe killed the son. I kind of believe that the daughter sort of killed the son, and Chad Daybell killed the daughter. There's just part of me believes it. Because, like, why do you think the daughter left with the wife and the son? You know, but anyway. The dude takes the bat from her because she was, like, poking him with the bat, like, you know, back up or she's going to hit him. So, he takes the bat. The brother comes out with a gun, shoots him in the chest. But he claims that the Vallow man hit him with a baseball bat, cracked him in the head, which, you throw the flag down on bullshit. If you get hit with a fucking bat, you are out cold, you're bleeding on the ground, you are fucking out. You are DOA. Close to DOA. Well, you are DOA. Dead on arrival when you get hit with a baseball bat. So, but he had, like, as the police said at the scene, like, he had a scratch on his head, which he kept, like, rubbing on a paper towel. Like, he was trying to irritate that cut to make it bleed more, in my opinion. Because they knew he was fucking guilty on sight for shooting him. But the thing that stood out to me the most in that video, besides the brother being a piece of shit, which I will get to him later, he dies. He was dead. He dead. The brother's dead. So, the woman, the Vallow woman, is a shady bitch. This woman is like a mastermind. She is like the fucking Joker. Like, this woman is a mastermind behind all of it. She is standing there, like, smiling, talking, like nothing fucking happened. And she took the boy to school, JJ, to school. Like, who the fuck decides, like, well, I'm going to take the kid to school. My ex-husband, he shot, like that. It's like, if I was the investigator, I'd be like, hold the fuck up. Why did you take your kid to school? Your husband just got shot. Well, your ex-husband, because you're a crazy fucking bitch. But why did you take the kid to school? And the daughter, why isn't the daughter in school now? What the fuck is going on? Like, that would be me if I was, like, investigating this murder. I'd be, like, throwing flags up. First off, the police, they talk about, they drove the family back. Like, the family was, like, laughing and joking. Like it was more like their car got fucking stolen and they got it back. And they were talking about going to a trip to Florida. If I was the investigator, I would pump the brakes, turn the car around, and drive back to the fucking police station. Because I'd be like, hold the fuck up. You're going on vacation to Hawaii, which I don't know why anybody would go to Hawaii to begin with. It's like Hawaii. It's also like California. Like, California is like God's Etch-a-Sketch. Like, why the fuck would you go there? But anyway, I shouldn't joke about California. But why Hawaii? Like, you got a volcano. I mean, like, here, like today, we had an earthquake, which we're fine. I didn't even know we had an earthquake. Like, I was asleep through it. I was, like, told, like, we got an earthquake? Wow. It's like the time I, like, where I used to live, like, previous residence, like, we had a tornado that was, like, 5-10 miles away from us. I didn't even know, and I didn't really care. Like, I was asleep. I was, like, the Donald Duck meme when, like, a tornado, well, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. I'm sleeping. But oh, thunder. I love thunderstorms. But anyway, I would have taken him back to the police station because, like, clearly red flags were up at that point, which I don't think they had enough to hold them on evidence. But the thing about it was they should have taken each and every one of them and questioned them, further to, like, know what happened. But anyway, all right, let's jump to October. Like I said, September 23rd, the kids disappeared. The kids were last seen September 23rd. October, Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy, dead. She is found dead in her sleep. No one knows what the fuck happened with her. She was just found dead. Now he moved the body from, I think, Idaho to Utah. Two states I will never go to because I do not understand neither of them. Even though my mom's stepbrother lives in Utah, and my grandpa's like fucking fascinated with Utah. My grandpa loves Mormons because he says Mormons are the nicest weird people he has ever met. like this man will talk an hour about Mormons. How fascinating they are. Like, I have never seen, like, I am not making this up. Like, one time I was a kid, I was staying with my grandma and grandpa for the summer. Two Mormons opened a door, and the door was open. There was a storm door because it was Sunday, and they were knocking on the door politely. He smiled. Like, I never seen my grandpa smile before in my life. He smiled, stood up, walked over there, and was just like, well, how are you both? Like, he was happy as hell to see two Mormons. Like, and I don't know why. The man is a Southern Baptist. He is a strict Southern Baptist, but he loves Mormons. I have never in my life. Like, this old man does not like many people. He's not a people person, but he loves Mormons. And now he's like talking he's now like talking my grandma into like buying, like, this is the funny thing about it. Like, they are rich. My grandparents are rich. Like, they are in the money. Because my grandpa was a very smart man with money. No, he mocks their religion. That's the weird thing about it. He mocks Mormonism. Because he made this comment where, like, he taught me everything about Mormons, which I don't know why. I have no interest in converting to Mormonism at all. I seen South Park. I know what Mormons do. But he made the joke where he was like, yeah, I don't understand how people believe in Mormonism. This is him. This is what he was saying. Like, he goes on to say, like, you know, they found the gold tablets here in Missouri, the scriptures, you know, and stuff. I don't know how the hell they find gold tablets, especially in Missouri. I don't understand. Like, he was just like, I don't know what it was, but he likes Utah. He thinks Utah is a great place. But he made like a point, like he pointed out like a lot of things which kind of went over my head at the first time around, but now it's like, wow. Utah is run by Mormons. Mormons run Utah. They don't like in their the Book of Mormon, they are not allowed to have alcohol, tobacco, caffeine, which for me is like, fuck you, I can't do that. And they're not allowed to have sex before marriage. At that point, those 4 things, I'm just like, I'm out. Like, at that point, I'm just like, no, I'd rather be where I'm at. But, and one thing I find really cool is the way their marriage is. Like, when you marry someone, you are internally bound to that person. You are internally and spiritually bound to your spouse. So there is no divorce, because if you divorce on earth, you are still married for eternity and bound to that person, which I'm just like, I fucking love that. Like, I love that. That is really cool. And I know there's some dudes who'd be like, that sounds like hell. For me, that sounds like paradise. Like, that is paradise to me. So when you marry someone, you are internally and spiritually bound to that person for eternity of your soul. Well, I'm just like, I love it. So, but the Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow thing, the weird thing about it is, his wife dies in October. November, they had a busy month. Busy month. In November, a month, 1 month after his wife died, Lori Vallow, it's romantic. It is. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, on November, 1 month after Chad's wife died, they get married. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell marry 1 month after his wife died. Chad Daybell's wife died, Tammy. Family calls authorities to check on JJ in November. Because remember, they only talked. JJ talked to his grandparents in August via a FaceTime for only 36 seconds. So, 2 months they did not speak to JJ. In November, the grandparents calls the authorities to have a checkup on JJ. JJ, mind you, his name is Joshua, which I think is really, cool. I think it's why I sort of have like because the kid's autistic. The boy is autistic. And I have 2 cousins who are autistic. And I have a nephew who has mild autism. I think that's why a lot of people are so keeping an eye on this case. And I think it's why a lot of people are so, like, keeping an eye on this case. It's just like, this kid has autism. And this woman who claims to be his mom, Lori Vallow, does not care at all. I'm sure there's a part of her in her mind where she's just like, what the fuck did I do? In her mind. But I will say this, like, if this woman goes to prison, she is not going to survive in prison. She will be fucking killed in prison. Because women in prison, my cousin has it too. It's just like, when it comes to like kids who have autism, they are special to a lot of people. Because people care about them because they're vulnerable. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't, like, they're very vulnerable, and people are very protective of children with autism. But when Lori Vallow, like, if she goes to prison, she is fucking dead. Because women in prison, if they find out, like, this woman possibly, maybe killed her kid, I'm going to assume maybe, because the kid, they are still missing. But if they, like, find out, like, this woman possibly murdered her kid who has autism, they are going to fucking kill this woman. They are just going to, like, beat the living shit out of this woman and stuff. So, in November, family calls authorities to have a checkup on JJ. They do not find nothing. Lori lies to the police during a welfare checkup on JJ. And JJ was with relatives in Arizona, which they find out is not true. Neighbors see them packing their stuff that night, and they leave town. Police raid Lori's townhouse one day before Thanksgiving. On December 2019, Tammy's body is exhumed. And right now, Lori Vallow is Alright, here's the weird thing about it. She was married 4 times. Her first husband, they divorced. They don't know what his name is or what happened to him. She was married the second time to a William Lagoa, whatever his name is. They divorced. She marries Joseph Ryan. They divorced in 2004, but he is found dead. Charles Vallow, that's his name. Charles Key and Larry Woodcock are JJ's grandparents. Charles Vallow is Kay's brother, which means he is biologically JJ's great uncle, but he is also JJ's adopted father. He was shot dead July 11, 2019. Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy, is... That's kind of sad, though. Like she was found in her sleep. She was found dead in her sleep. Which means one or two things is either they're either going to do a toxicology report, which is most likely they're going to do, because if it was strangulation, they would have found it on her neck. They would have found bruising around her neck. Or if she was like, I know some people are like, well, what if he suffocated her with a pillow? They would have found pressure bruises on her face. by putting him putting a pillow and putting his body weight on her. Tammy died October 19th, 2019. The investigators now call her death suspicious. Chad and Lori were married a few weeks later. Here's Alex Cox. Alex Cox is Lori's brother. They had a very weird relationship. He fatally shot her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, which he said was self-defense. His death, he died December 12th, 2019, in his his stepson's bathroom. He married some woman that Lori and Chad introduced to him, who she was part of the Doomsday Cult. And Lori once told her friend that this woman had magical powers that controls weather and things, like weird fucked up shit. Like, she said she was a demigod that controls the weather and current and whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. They were weird. They make Scientology look normal. If we're talking about Scientology. So, Melina Bordeaux. Melina is Lori's niece. Her husband, Brandon Bordeaux, says someone shot at him in October. And he said that the person who shot at him, the police said the shooter, was in a Jeep registered to Charles Vallow. Melina finalized her divorce with Brandon and is married to Ian Polinsky. In November 2019, Ian was recently divorced his spouse as well. So that is the family tree of JJ and Tylee. Tylee is the daughter who disappeared as well. So, they recently revealed a mugshot of Lori Vallow, and I seen the mugshot. Oh, that's not normal. I seen the mugshot of Lori Vallow. They recently released it. I seen it, and I was just like, you deserved it, bitch. You deserve to be arrested. Just because the woman deserved it. But anyway. Let's get into comics now. I am sorry for rambling incoherently about this case. I find it fascinating, and I highly recommend watching YouTube videos about it or the Dateline. I watched it, and it was really good. I sat through it. I'm gonna watch it again probably later on today. I don't know why, but But anyway, let's get to DC Comics. Let's talk about the Dan Didio. Because a lot of things happened recently. Last time we did the show, I talked about, last subject was Dan Didio being let go from DC Comics and stuff, and so why did Dan Didio leave DC Comics anyway? And I hate these stupid pop-ups. Alright, earlier today, this was February 21st, so Bleeding Cool recently ran a scoop where Dan Didio has been gone at DC Comics. He was probably this is what one person wrote. Probably my favorite DC comic book publisher. Often I don't agree with his publishing decisions, and who does anyone's. Which I like Dan Didio. Like I said, he he was the guy who, even though he was kind of, an idiot at times, which I didn't agree with a lot of his stuff, which, he did. He wasn't a big supporter of a Batman Catwoman wedding, and I'm a big supporter of Batman and Catwoman getting married, having a daughter, basically evolving the character, add a new layer to the Batman mythos and stuff. But I'm a big fan of the DC Giants books, where Dan Didio was like sort of the pusher for the DC Comics Giants books to come out. The Batman Giant, Superman Giant, Wonder Woman Giant, Aquaman Flash Giant, Justice League, Teen Titans Go, DC Superhero Girls, Scooby-Doo, all these things. Didio was the big pusher of it, which was a great thing, because you're putting books into a store that doesn't really carry a lot of comic books, which I know from experience. And like the last time I seen like a comic book like in the book section was Watchmen, which I don't know why. Killing Joke, which I hate Killing Joke. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people who love Killing Joke. I hate Killing Joke. The Killing Joke movie and book, I don't really care for either one. They both were stupid. I know it's kind of controversial to say that, because a lot of people love Killing Joke. If you love the Killing Joke movie or book, that's fine with you. That, you have your own cup of tea. Mine is just not a sad clown flavor. But for me, and I seen recently the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey book, which was basically a cover of Birds of Prey movie, but inside it's just a Harley Quinn book. That is basically it. You're not really getting much out of it. But I love the giant books, and I hope they continue it, because that was like the one positive thing that Dan Didio did that I actually like. And it was really exciting to find the giant books. And yeah, I might have the Hush series, but I love those Batman Giant books. They were really fun books to read, and new stories that Brian Michael Bendis actually didn't do a bad job writing. It was actually kind of entertaining. And I love the artwork. The artwork was fantastic, and I follow the artist who did the artwork on Twitter, because I'm a fan of his artwork and stuff. So, and I like the new Giant books. Like I said, like they did the Two-Face story, which was really entertaining and really good. Two-Face escaping Arkham. So it was really good. Like Dan Didio really did a fantastic job as a publisher. There's some positives and there's some negatives. I always look at the positive of what he did for DC, but I don't like that. I know there's some people who are negative about it, but I will say this: if Dan Didio didn't do New 52, we wouldn't have gotten the Snyder and Capullo Batman. That's the thing that I always look at it. Did I like the Catwoman New 52 run? Yes and no. I love the artwork. The artist who did Catwoman New 52 really did a fantastic job. But I didn't like it because I always felt like it felt like Batman and Catwoman were like in a separate Gotham instead of the same one. I always felt like they were in a separate Gotham universe. But I like the Batman New 52. I'm a huge fan of Greg Capullo and his artwork. Snyder, he could write good books, but there's sometimes he just doesn't hit very well. And I felt like, I felt like after Court of Owls, he just like fired quickly and ran out of gas. At his end run of New 52. It's like if you went to the point where you're going to make Jim Gordon Batman, then you definitely ran out of gas. along the way. But Capullo was brilliant. I love the Dark Knight's Metal, and I will be honest, like, Last Night on Earth was brilliant. I think that's like the best way they went out with Batman. But Death Metal, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give the book a try. Strange Adventures by Tom King, I will probably give a try. I will check it out. There's that white cat again. There's been this white cat showing up at my house. I gotta tell this story real quick. I went outside because I had to take Stitch out. And after I took Stitch in, I went out to move the cat food into the shed. Because it was sunny and nice outside yesterday, and I decided to open the doors in the shed and, put the cat food outside. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this white cat comes up demanding attention. Like, wanting attention, wanted to be petted, wanted, to be held, And this white cat was just like solid white, like white long hair, or white long fur. Like, this cat was just white. The whitest cat I have ever seen. But now I see it like walking in the woods. Now it's like following. Now there's a black cat, which I know very well, following it. Like on a venture. They look like Frodo, Lord of the Rings. So, anyway, that's a Lord of the Rings reference I have not used in a long time. But anyway, I'm going to get back to the article with hold on. Anyway. But I enjoyed his company and his presence immensely. This is about the article the person's writing about Dan Didio. Sorry. Also that I wouldn't play the game, but he understood Bleeding Cool's place in the role of things critically and often mocking voice. Would sometimes even play up to it, but he also was a disruptor. He wanted to shake things up. He shake things up to find what was better. An approach to that can rub many the wrong way, but often works. But because he was as much as anyone, he also loved comics and the characters, and he wanted to do what's best by them. Yes, even Wally West and Dick Grayson. A lot of people blamed him for. A lot of people blamed Didio for the Wally West and Dick Grayson. And I will say this, here's the thing, a lot of people always say, Dan Didio hates Wally West, but here's the thing. If Dan Didio hated Wally West so much, why did he bring back Wally West? Why did he approve of Wally West coming back in Rebirth? That is a question right there. Because if you ever looked at it, Wally West was the heart of the DC universe. And once he came back, you've seen how important figure he was. And yeah, I didn't like Wallace West either. But you kind of got to see, he was trying new things out, and, but anyway. Bleeding Cool now understand that, yes, Dan Didio was fired this morning by Warner Brothers at 10 a.m. In their Burbank office, he left the building straight away. I was told by sources that close to the situation, he was fired for fostering poor work environment. As evidence, we previously stated that significant departures at the publisher by editors. Dan Didio has a reputation of being a micromanager for being very involved in projects for others. So they fired him. They fired him at 10 a.m. So, at DC Comics, but he was heading the changes in the publishing program, one aspect which was rumored to be the 5G or Generation 5, which was seeing major DC figures such as Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, Diana, and more age out and replaced with new characters taking the role of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Part of the new DC timeline. For some folks at DC, they were very much against it, but opposition never worried Dan. After all, he was at constant odds with the direction of the company line, and pushed pretty much the entire career as a publisher, and was always strived to put the comics first as he saw it. So he was a big pusher also for the 5G, which we talked about on previous episodes. How much I looked forward just to destroy and review every book, which I realized would cost me money. Which, in a way, I'm kind of glad. Hopefully, they don't go forward with the 5G, so they don't cost me money until reviewing them. And no, I am not starting a Patreon. I see a lot of people who do that. Now, once they have a podcast, they start a Patreon. I don't want one. I don't ask for money. I have my own money, thank you. So, and I'm doing far better. So, no, I hate the Patreon thing. So I never want to do one because it's dumb. And plus, I don't put out much content. I just do an episode of this. You hear my voice and that's it. I'm not like one of those people who create videos or stuff like that. Or do those they give their opinion and you have gameplay of Arkham or Fortnite or whatever. I would never do that because I am a very shitty video gamer. I'm not that really good. I think if you ever seen one, it would be like me playing Madden, which I started playing. And yes, I did watch the Battlehawks. We fucking dominated New York. God, that was a good game. I was watching it. It was the first football game, and there goes Frodo and Sam. And Frodo, the white cat, is carrying a piece of chicken. Now it's going to the back steps with its piece of chicken. You are very badass. Yeah, I played Madden, which I haven't played Madden in a while. I was playing it, and because I was after watching football, I was just I gotta play a video game of it because I love football. It's the first football game we had since I think the Rams last season, which is a while ago. So it was really cool. The stadium was packed, sold out. Torrey Holt was there. Awesome. For those who don't know, Torrey Holt was a wide receiver for the greatest show on turf. The greatest Rams football team in Rams history. That's right. And the only Rams team to win a Super Bowl. So take that in, LA. St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl. Not the Rams. St. Louis Rams. Remember that. But anyway. Let's see where we at. Yeah, age the characters up. Some of the folks at Dan. But in recent months, we're back in recent months, there was some editorial backtracks in this direction, given details and general sense of frustration that the clock was ticking, that nothing was being done. We saw rapid departures of DC editorials such as Pat McCollin, Alex Antonote, Molly Mam, Rob Liven, and others. Could this be a factor? Certainly Dan Didio's departure was a surprise to him, and it was to everyone else. I understood that the initial announcement at a small series of small meetings in Burbank, California today. Though there was no one seems to have been told executives attending Comics Pro who had read about it on Bleeding Cool and on their mobile phones sharply exited conference results. Jim Lee is remaining a publisher and CCO at DC and will be steering the ship for the foreseeable future. Is it too late to change in the upcoming C2E2 panel? Meet the publishers, singular now. At Comics Pro, there was a discussion amongst retailers about Didio's firing, with comic book writer Scott Snyder being named mentioned in the factor at the Eternal at DC Comics. Snyder was seen someone opposed to the big plan with the 5G, though it could harm retailers. So there was a lot of discussions in it. Scott Snyder was anti-5G. He did not like the 5G plan that Didio and I assume many others like Bendis, I'm sure would have been like, oh, we're on it. You know, Bendis, I'm sure, was one of the pushers for the 5G because, as you can tell, he wants to sort of do away with Superman. And I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but when you get rid of like one of the big three characters, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and yes, I'm mentioning Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is one of the big three characters of the Trinity of DC. If you get rid of those three, or one of those three, there will be problems in it. There will be a lot of problems with that plan because each of those characters draw money, especially Batman. Batman is the franchise, the centerpiece of the DC universe. And yeah, Superman is the cornerstone of DC Comics, but Superman. But when you see Batman name draws money, and when you don't have Bruce Wayne under the cowl as Batman or Terry McGinnis, I'm going to mention Terry McGinnis because he's been Batman for a long time, since 1999. You don't have one of those characters underneath the mask, you're going to raise a lot of red flag problems. You're going to be raising a lot of problems with people who are like, what the fuck is this? Because, I'll mention it, and I hear my cat meowing, so I will be right back. Remind me to say the names of previous Batmans that I think are not great. So anyway, hold on. I'm back. Alright, previous Batmans that did not do great. Alright. Let's see, Dick Grayson. A lot of people like Dick Grayson as Batman. I don't. He's better off as Nightwing. Welcome back. Let's see. Another one, let's see, they had Jim Gordon. They had Azrael. Azrael was a failure. That was the weirdest one. The weirdest timeline ever. And most people will bitch about the New 52. Imagine this, back in the 90s. DC Comics kills Superman. Then they cripple Batman. Then DC was sort of like the third wheel to Marvel and Image. DC was not doing great. They killed Superman. Then they crippled Batman, which, by the way, I have that issue of Batman where Bane breaks Batman's back. On the cover, there's Bane snapping Batman's back. I have that comic. That was not a fun comic to read. I got it at like a flea market. Like someone was like selling a bunch of comics in like a bag for like $5. And that was back when flea markets were fun. Like me and my dad would go to flea markets and stuff, and like now, like the flea market that had all the comics I used to buy, I bought all the comics they had. I felt like Conan. I came, I saw, I conquered, and took all. That was like, now anytime I go to a flea market with my dad, it's like an unwanted garage sale. It was just like all you see is like tools. It was just like it was so depressing to go to a flea market, and all of a sudden, like, the reason my dad would go there, I am not making this up, my dad would go there is to buy plants from this plant dude. The plant dude, as they call it, the plant dude. And the plant dude is basically like this old hippie. This old school hippie. He reminds me of like one of the dudes from Cheek and Chong, minus the weed. But it like he will say like, yeah, man, you gotta put the plant out there in the sun and put water on it and plant food and just let it be itself, man. That's basically how he will talk. I will stand there and just be like, and my dad would be like, yeah, man, I built this like mini planks, like keep rabbits and stuff out of it. And the dude goes, yeah, man, they got like this fertilizer stuff that will like keep rabbits and deer away from the plants so they don't like go at the thing. And my dad would be like, man, I got this dog that's just like a loud bitch named Lilo. It's his dog. And he'll point at me like it was just like it was just like the craziest shit I will ever see. And like now they have like this big ass flea market, like 10-15 miles, and like my dad's like wanted to go there one day. This big ass flea market, as he calls it. So that's what it is. It's like this big ass flea market, which if I ever own like land and I decide to build a flea market, that's what I'm going to call it. Josh's big ass flea market and stuff. Like, that's what I should do. Like, anytime, if I ever have to do like a podcast tour, like, I notice like a lot of people who do podcasts will do like a tour or a convention. Like, I want to call my tour, I'm using air quotes, the big ass tour. Shit, like, anyway, let's get back to DC stuff. Snyder and Didio were not eye to eye on creatively, but I understand that Snyder merely wanted to keep his upcoming death metal comic far away from the 5G Generation 5 as possible, intending to use the series to celebrate DC's 85th 85 years to date. Rather than anything forward-looking, this frustrated Didio's plan to introduce the 5G with death metal. And Lila's awake from her nap. As a result, mentions that death metal were taking out of plan of 5G. Plan for Generation Zero Gods Among Us story for Free Comic Book Day. It is now possible that DC Comics Free Comic Book Day offering may change again as a result of, even though it is free, even though it's for FOC this weekend. But it's all being worked out in real time this weekend at Burbank. And now, according to people working on it, the 5G is still launching in October. In what shape, form, I have no clue. Here's the weird thing about it. Why don't they just, stop it? Everyone knows that the 5G, or Generation 5, whatever they want to call it, it sounds like this stupid thing, but why don't they just shit can it? Why don't they just cancel it on site? You know what I mean? Just up and end it, nothing. Yeah, I was supposed to do the Titans Go thing, but it's kind of weird though. I watched the vallow thing, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. And I hope everyone's all right with doing Titans tomorrow, because I wanted to talk about the vallow thing because I watched that an hour before we went live on the show. Because I did say on Twitter, to a couple people who were asking me about it, that I would talk about it. So, anyway, we'll do the Titans book tomorrow, I promise. We'll do it the first thing when we start the show tomorrow. Just open it with that. I really wanted to talk about the vallow thing, because I was, waiting, anticipating, and excited to, see this case, because it is a really fascinating story. Even though it's terrifying, but it's fascinating of how this woman just did this, and she has no raw emotions or feelings. This woman is just hollow. She's a hollow person. But anyway, here's another question. The Invisible Man movie that's being made, that's coming out. I'm a huge fan of the Universal Monsters, but the Invisible Man movie I don't look forward to seeing. I don't like it. I love the Invisible Man book, the movie, the classic Universal movie. But this new one, I don't like it. I don't like it. I know there's some people who are going to be excited about seeing it because, it's... But the thing is, it's not even a true, real adaptation of H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. It is basically a remake of Hollow Man. Remember that shitty Hollow Man movie with Kevin Bacon? That piece of shit? That's what it looks like. It does not look like the Invisible Man movie that I love to death. It's basically... a shitty-ass remake of Hollow Man. So here's the premise. Trapped in a violent, controlling relationship with a wealthy, brilliant scientist, Cecilia escapes in the dead of night and disappears, hiding by the aid of her sister and their childhood friend and his teenage daughter. But when Cecilia's abusive ex commits suicide and leaves her in a generous portion of his vast fortune, Cecilia suspects his death was a hoax. And a series of eerie coincidences turn into lethal, threatening the lives of those she loves. Cecilia sanity begins to unravel as she desperately tries to prove that she is being haunted by someone no one can see. It's basically the fucking Hollow Man movie. Like, it is basically what it is. Let me find it. Hollow Man, the 2000 movie, which is 20 years old, which has not aged. So, the plot of Hollow Man is an arrogant scientist played by Kevin Bacon has developed a serum for the military that can make the subject invisible. But when his team includes his ex-girlfriend and other people, the team succeeds in reversing the product and returning an invisible gorilla visible. Sebastian, played by Bacon, becomes infatuated with Linda again, unbeknownst to him that she's involved with Matt. Ooh. I seen this movie as a kid. I thought it was like the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen. I was just like, I'd rather watch the classic Invisible Man. Like, if they ever do like the Monsters again, like they made a remake of the Monsters, with I think it was Brad Fuller, like Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal, which I highly recommend. I love Hannibal. That is a good show, by the way. They did the Monsters, and I was like so excited because I love the Monsters. That's like me and my dad's favorite show. Like, we will watch, like, they had the Monsters on like Cozy TV and on Hulu because we don't have MeTV, which kind of saddens me because I can't watch the Flintstones. Except I can on Boomerang. But the Monsters, I was like so excited for like the reboot, which looked really good, and they ended up not doing the show because NBC, Nothing But Crap, decided, no, we can't do it. We don't want to do it. That's why I always call like shows like networks I don't like, you know, names like NBC, Nothing But Crap, ABC, Always Broadcasting Crap, CNN, the Clown News Network. Like, I will just call them like, you know, make fun of the initials of their network. But instead of reporting his success to the military, Sebastian lies an oversight committee, which includes his mentor, Howard, and convinces his team to go right into human testing. He performs the procedure on himself. Despite the pain he undergoes, the test is successful. Sebastian turns completely invisible, sneaking around the lab in order to scare and play pranks on his fellow co-workers, including molesting Sarah. The team becomes concerned that Sebastian is taking it too far, but the procedure to return visibly fails and almost kills him. Sebastian is quarantined in a laboratory due to his condition. Researchers construct a latex mask for him. But Sebastian becomes insane by the invisibility to spy and kill on his co-workers and his ex-girlfriend and everyone around him. See, why does that sound familiar? Why does that sound familiar? That sounds like the new Invisible Man movie. It sort of has the similarities to it. He decides to become invisible, spies on his ex-girlfriend, kills everyone around her to drive her insane. That is basically the premise of the new Invisible Man movie, instead of like the classic where the scientist becomes invisible to the shock and horror of himself. He's trying to find a cure to be visible again instead of wearing bandages and being invisible, like in the classic Invisible Man story. This new Invisible Man movie doesn't look that great, so I'm sorry, it doesn't seem interesting to me. So, anyway, I wish they would have done the one with Johnny Depp being in it. Like, that was the thing that always disappoints me with, like, the failure of the Dark Universe, was that they had, like, everything planned out. Like they had Johnny Depp playing the Invisible Man, Russell Crowe playing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Imagine the irony of that one. I mean, you have the guy who's known for having, like, crazy outbursts, like throwing a telephone at somebody, and anger issues, and apologizes for it. You had Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men. Friendo. And he was in one of the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. I forget which one. I think it was Spectre. I think it's been a while. Rumors of Angelina Jolie playing the Bride of Frankenstein. Christian Bale his name was brought up to play Dracula. Which, Christian Bale playing Dracula, that would have been fucking good. Like, Christian Bale could play anything. He played Dick Cheney. He played in Ford versus Ferrari. He played Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, which, you know, it wasn't bad. The Machinist, that was a crazy movie. He was Batman. So, Christian Bale playing Dracula, he would have been fucking good. He would have like made that role crazy. Like, he would have done great as Dracula. But sadly, we're never going to see that thanks to Tom Cruise and his crazy, stupid ass of rewriting the entire Mummy film to make him younger and, you know, a young man type shit. But damn. Like, one thing I wish they would have done, and this is kind of like an idea that I heard, which was brilliant. They should have gotten Brendan Fraser to play Van Helsing. Like, they could have, like, carried, like, the Mummy film and, like, the Mummy film into, like, the Dark Universe, where they're like, you know, Brendan Fraser, you know, he kills so many mummies, and one day Dracula, played by Christian Bale, kills Evie and his son. Evie was his wife in the Mummy films, and his son and his brother, and he swears vengeance to kill Dracula. So he makes a deal with this I forget what is the term for it. Like, one of these people, the pharaohs, like one of the pharaohs, I forget. So he makes a deal with somebody after killing so many mummies, where he's like, I killed all these mummies. This bastard kills my wife and kids, named Dracula. So he finds, like, Dracula's tomb, but the person he meets is, like, this ancient vampire, and he's like, I will give you this blood to drink, so you can have eternity to find Dracula and vanquish him. So Brendan Fraser, through all these years, from the 1940s, you know, tries to hunt down Dracula through all the decades. So he ages like now he doesn't look the same as he did in the Mummy films, but he ages like a decade. I mean, now he aged because his wife divorced him and basically took everything from him. So he ages like every decade till he tries to find Dracula. That would have been cool. Like, Brendan Fraser as Van Helsing. Or they could have gotten Hugh Jackman to play Van Helsing. I would go with Brendan Fraser because that guy deserves it. Hugh Jackman's in too much stuff nowadays. So, but he was good in Van Helsing. So, Anyway. Anyway, let's get back to the article of the 5G. The departure of Dan Didio as publisher of DC Comics over the weekend has left many wondering what might happen to the 5G or the Generation 5 relaunch for the DC Universe, which would have Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Diana, and the rest of them age out of their roles and replaced by new characters under the old names and gather a huge amount of attention, in which tales of classic characters would play out to premium prestige titles. The truth is, I don't know. The person who wrote this, the truth is, I don't know. Dan Didio was so much behind the movement and signed off the top bods of at Warner Brothers / AT&T. Even without the champion, momentum is strong. I am told that the worried creators who would have been working on the new 5G titles for some time under the editor, Brian Cunningham, have been told to full speed ahead of all their comics, the comics and the plans to announce at San Diego Comic-Con and launch in October. And half a year's worth of comics already completed. However, the absence of Didio might mean that if the Generation 5 comes out the natural end, it may replace sooner than that later, lacking someone's ideological decision to the new and the change. You know, I got this idea. Let me play with this idea. Okay. I'm going to do how I would have done it. How I would do this. Let's play with this idea. Okay. You got the old characters. The characters that everybody loves, knows, and, well, here's this idea. What if they change up this idea? Like, what if they take the 5 generation, or Generation 5, 5G, give it a name change? You know, everybody loves classic stuff coming back. Everything loves something old being something new. What if they just changed it to DC Beyond? What if they just take these new characters with the old moniker and titles and just puts them in the future universe, the Beyond universe? You know, people love Batman Beyond. What if you just make these characters in the Beyond universe, the DC Beyond? Like another universe or a future world years from now. Batman's, you know, like you could, instead of Luke Fox, you could bring in Terry McGinnis or, hell, Damian Wayne as Batman. I would rather see the latter, Damian Wayne as Batman. And you could put the Wonder Woman, woman, whatever it is, into Wonder Woman comics. I mean, nobody's going to read it. You could have John Kent as Superman, you know. But Damian Wayne as Batman would be pretty cool. I mean, to someone like us who enjoys Damian Wayne and John Kent, you know, Super Sons, which everybody apparently did not like, but I mean the people at DC, but why don't you just make it Batman Beyond? Like, why don't you just make it Beyond, like the future DC universe and stuff? Like, why do you have to, like, take out something everybody loves and replace it with something everybody hates? I mean, it's kind of like nowadays, like, you know, like recently on Twitter, apparently there's a war with the fans of the Raylos, anyway, it's something with Star Wars. Kylo Ren and Rey and Kylo Ren, Raylos, which sounds like a medication for a nasty STD, but anyway. why don't they just replace, why... Anyway, the point I'm making is, why not make the Generation 5 or 5G the Beyond universe? Like, salvage what's left of what the original didio plan is and try to make something out of it, like, and stuff. So, anyway. Of course, everybody's looking for the 5G, which maybe the missing... They may be real DC big change. Bleeding Cool is attempting to talk more about it through the week, blah, 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 blah. But no, in DC, they can't make, like, with this 5G, as they're going to call it, that you can't make chicken shit out of chicken salad, but, But anyway, they're going to let this thing... I honestly think that... I honestly think people are going to just, like, watch this fail. I honestly think that the 5G or Generation 5 is most likely going to fail. It's going to fail. It's going to fall. It's going to fail. And we're all going to watch everything just collapse. Anyway. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up the podcast pretty soon. I'm going to read this one real quick. It's a spoiler for a Batman, which I have not been reading the Batman comics under James Tyan or James the Fourth for a while. I've been sort of, not really caring much. Anyway, while James Tyan states that his run of Batman with issue 86, with issue 86, the writer actually gave everyone a sneak peek what comes in the short story featuring Batman 85 with illustrated by Gilliam March. A short scene with the Joker and his henchmen got the news of Superman revealed his secret identity to the world, which sparked a new plan for the Clown Prince of Crime. After all these years, the character has known to become who Batman really is under the cowl. But he has never used that knowledge on public scale before, stating it would be the end. He explained, the last laugh, the final battle. And while he was hesitant at first, he quickly realized it's finally time for his masterpiece since then the Joker has been working behind the scenes and planning something big. Now in Batman 89, we will finally find out not just Bruce Wayne he's going after, but the entire Bat family. Dun dun dun. So basically it's about the Joker who finally knows that the entire Bat family and who they are underneath the cowl and masks and stuff. So basically that's it. I'll be honest, that is not exciting. That's kind of like, So anyway, so we're wrapping up the podcast. So anyway, I will read the Titans Go tomorrow, and I also found an article on Phantom Monsters that I really, really like. I kind of want to read as well, so tomorrow. So basically I'd be reading a lot of shit. Which is basically people encountering Bigfoot and all that stuff. But anyway, you were amazing. Oh, thank you, love. So anyway, yeah. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really excited about what they're doing with the Batman, the Joker finally revealing who Batman's secret identity is, which kind of would be hypocritical. I mean, the Joker once said, like, it would kill the joke of, it would sort of, like, kill the fun of knowing who Batman is. It'd be kind of stupid and dumb, so, anyway, I don't really care for it. I look forward to the Batman Catwoman book. So, anyway, I will see you all tomorrow's show, so, yeah, anyway, see you all tomorrow. Bye.